We've already came such a long way with this M4, from stripping that front end down to almost nothing left, to learning processes like how to pressurise the entire coolant system. It's fair to say we've had our fair share of challenges along the way. Now we're not out of the woods yet, as you'll learn, but things are finally starting to look up, dare I say it.
But there's still absolutely loads to do. Hello and welcome back to all the existing subscribers, and welcome back to our crashed M4. You can see it's moved on a little bit since you last seen it. We've got those wheels back on the car now. We even gave it a little bit of a wash. But as I say, we've still got an absolute ton to do. So one of the problems that we've got is the car only came with one broken key. It didn't have the key blade for opening the door manually either. So we've got someone coming that's going to help us with that. We need to pick the locks, determine what that blade should be, and also get some new keys made up. So we're going to include that. So in terms of the actual rebuild itself, we've been waiting on these two crash arms turning up. This is the one that was particularly crumpled when we got the car, so there was no other option. We had to wait on these coming, and obviously that meant we couldn't get the bumper on and get the car finished off, and obviously we need to get to paint as well. But for now, we'll get these on. Unfortunately, it has taken a while due to the strike action of a certain company. So here is the problem with these Copart cars sometimes. Now, although we've been really lucky with this car, here's the sort of thing you can get caught out with. So these BMWs have got active suspension. You can adjust it from inside the car, but in order to do that, there's this little electronic connector on the top of the struts. You can see it here, this is a complete one, but if we move over to this side, it looks like, unfortunately, someone stole the connector from it. The wires just sat there and there's not a bit of dirt on it, so I suspect this has probably been nabbed out of the Copart yard. So something else we need to get done, you can see we've got the seats out of the car because these bolsters, as tends to happen on these M4s, are quite worn. Now we've got this stuff, the all-in-one colorant from Scratch Doctor is apparently a really good color match to these seats, so we're going to do that as well. There's not much that we're not doing on this car. So we're getting the crash bar put on, and it basically just bolts through, and then you've got one of these little brackets here that holds the bolt in place. We only had one though. When we dismantled the car, we were super careful about bagging everything and keeping everything, obviously. So it was a bit confusing as to why we only had one. Now thankfully, we kept the old crash arm, and sure enough, you can see it's embedded in there tight. And look at that, you can see the difference. That sits in there. That's the side that took the big wallop. So here's where we are. Whole front end is back together now. You can see this thing just fits together like one big jigsaw. Actually really well made cars. It's impressive. Oh, you can see the batteries just went in because we're just about to take this thing for its first spin. So if you recall earlier in the video, I did say the seats were out. They're waiting to get cleaned up a little bit, so we're sitting on a radio here. And I should probably point out, it's all private land. We're not taking it on the road or anything like this.
We're not.
Oh, it's so cool to be in the M4 though. I know we're hardly on an adventure, but it's moving.
Yeah.
I think we're almost teasing ourselves just by getting a wee run and not being able to take it out and thrash it.
I'd maybe U-turn here.
Just spinning. Oh.
Alright. Don't worry about the car, it's just one of those things.
Had a wee accident, hit a deer.
No, really good. Crashed, it's fine.
She looks good. And Gregor's arrived. Give it some. You need to give it some now.
I'm pretty tired.
Even better. Big dirty burnout, go. I'll jump out and get some outside video, I said. Only problem is he's not come back for me, so I'm now having to hoof it back to the garage.
Sounds quite good, I think. For a stock car. Give it a wee tickle. It's quite good. I quite like it. So yeah, basically that test drive served no purpose, just some fun. So now back on the lift and let's get the front bumper on.
So in all likelihood, this bumper's going to be coming back off when it goes to the body shop to get spray painted anyway. So we're just getting it on good enough to get the car there. No big deal, couple bolts in the wheel well and a couple of Torx bolts along the top here. Now what is a bigger job and what we are needing a bit of help with is getting these new keys programmed. So let's get into it.
So that's the circuit board there.
Yes, this is your FEM module, your Footwell Electronics module, the equivalent to your BCM. This stores all of the immobilizer information. Each processor holds different information. The one we're looking for is this one down here, which is a 95128, which is no from previous experience. So we've got adapters here that we can actually set up, connect to this microchip, read the EEPROM and the flash data, and give us the relevant information that we need to create a key.
That's unbelievable. And that's the board you're saying if you just scratched it one little bit?
So what you can see all over this PCB, that we call them as a printed circuit board, you've got wee copper tracks that connect everything. The smallest scrape, can render this whole module useless.
And what are you talking money-wise for something like that, you think?
I think the last time, these modules, because where they're placed in the cars, they're prone to actually getting flood damage as well.
Ah, yeah, I guess so, yeah.
And I'm sure the last one that we had replaced was about 1,200 quid.
Oh.
Now, don't get me wrong, the process that we're using, we can use the same process to actually transfer data to used modules. So for example, if this car was water damaged and this module was failing, I could recommend you go buy one from another car and I can transfer the files, so it saves again that huge dealer cost. Saves any OBD programming. Anybody that does electrics with BMW may know that they're temperamental as anything.
I take it this process is going to differ for every brand of car then?
Yes, exactly. This is strictly just for F series BMWs.
Got you.
So then threes and all that as well?
Yes, exactly. 1, 2, 3 and 4s have the FEM module. 5, 6, 7s are equipped with what we call a CAS4 immobilizer, which is a car access system 4. Just a different level of security really.
Right. Sounds like a wee relay then, it's just transmitting to that?
Basically, yeah, so what I'm going to do is hook it all up, and that's again the chip there. So we've got these wee puncture sockets that we use to save us actually having to remove the chip from the board as well.
What?
That wee socket will just sit over that chip like so. Now normally before these were ever available, we'd have had to desolder the chip and solder onto another circuit board, but since these adapters have become available, it's kind of sped up our process. So
I just go with that and what about the cost?
So there, that's giving you some of the information that's stored. So it's telling you the VIN number, which will match the VIN on the car, the mileage that's stored within the module, the frequency of the keys. You've got all your hardware, your software, all your different part numbers.
So is there any car key that is really notorious that you just can't do?
Well, the latest G series BMWs, no locksmiths can cover them at the moment. We're only covered as far as F series. This here should give us the list of keys already programmed. There we are there. So there's key 1 and key 2.
Yep.
Already programmed, that's the IDs. So if you read that transponder on one of my machines, it'll match either of the IDs. FFFs just mean unused possessions. So what we'll do is, there's only 2 keys programmed to it. So we'll select key number 3, learn, take that key out, we'll put our new key in.
Could you in theory put that on any key now? You're just talking about like a Ferrari key for your...
The transponders have got to be, hold the same information. So we've actually got universal keys that we can change the logic in the transponders. So we've got like Volkswagen, like the Passat or the Golf R, the keyless ones.
Yeah.
Essentially I could probably program one of these, but who's going to want a Golf R key on an M4?
Yeah, okay, yes.
Now with the 2 new keys added, it's just a case of getting that module back into the car and making sure everything works correctly. Listen to me, I'm making it sound like I'm doing the real work here. After that, it's then on to cracking the lock so we can make some new key blades. Now this was equally amazing and scary at the same time, just how quickly he had this lock crack using his pick. That runs off your phone as well. After that, out comes the mobile CNC cutter and the new key blades are made right in front of you on your premises. The service from these guys was impeccable. I'm going to add a link in the description below. Any of your new key needs, give these guys a shout. They're absolutely perfect. Now I don't want to come across as soppy here, but you know sometimes in life you almost feel like you want to pinch yourself because it doesn't feel real. Well, that's exactly how we feel here. It's thanks to you guys watching, subscribing, commenting and liking that we're able to do projects like this. It means everything, it really does, so thank you so much. And if you haven't done already, please do hit that subscribe button and we'll catch you next time when we get this M4 painted.